Kia ora koutou, Markie here with the camera the right way around, which means I usually get my fingers on it. Can never win, really. So this is the Rough and Ready channel. It's all content, no style. Um, and very informal, very chatty. It's like us having a bit of a chat, really. So this is my review of the Exorcist TV series season 2, which I just finished watching. So I did one on season 1, so check that one out. See what you think. So when I do reviews of stuff, I always assume, perhaps wrongly, that you have seen the series and you're just kind of interested in what other people thought of it. So there'd be spoilers. It's be chock full of spoilers, and I'm not going to explain the plot for reasons as given. Really, I love looking at reviews when I've watched it. That's part of my enjoyment of something. I go as soon as I've finished watching something, go straight to the reviews and see what other people say. So, The Exorcist, although I didn't with this one, actually, I haven't looked at any YouTube reviews for The Exorcist season 2. Now, I came away from watching it a bit. I don't know. How can I put this? A bit boggled, a bit confused. You know, I think there was something about what they tried to cram into this season. I think they tried to cram in maybe too much, and it was quite a short. You know, there weren't that many episodes, and I think I fired through it quite quickly. And then at the end, I almost kind of couldn't think back to the plot, really. I felt quite kind of overwhelmed with stuff. You know, they were just hitting me with lots of different stuff in this series, really. So in a way, I think fewer elements would have been better. So. And we had a few kind of interlinking kind of plot things. So we had, so we were looking at this kind of really lovely foster family. And then we were looking at a spurious exorcism where the mother was kind of doing almost like what they used to call Munchausen's by proxy. But now they call something like, not factual, but factal disorder or something like that. So the mother was trying to make the daughter look like she was possessed by giving her various drugs. And then, so that was, you know, a kind of oh, well, she's not possessed. We'll walk away from this exorcism. But then it links in with this foster family. So yeah, so my review is going to be bitty, okay? This ain't going to be my best review. And my reviews aren't great, to be honest. At the best, I shouldn't really say that, should I? That's not the way to sell my channel. But I think there is something good about my reviews because I'm neurodiverse. I sometimes pick on things that other people wouldn't necessarily pick up, and also tend to miss a lot that neurotypical people would pick up. And sometimes, like this one, they're just rambles, really. So, and I have given this some forethought, but I couldn't get any clarity, really. So, too many elements, but some really lovely things in there. I think I loved the Andy, the foster carer, and the scene at the end where he passes on the message, you know, practically from the grave to all his foster kids. You know, a message for each one of them. You know, it's all about how he believes in them and stuff like that. Fantastic. I love the character of Verity. That was interesting. There's a character called Grace in there, and a character called Verity. I think sometimes name meanings are quite interesting, aren't they? And you wonder, you know, or I wonder, you know, how deliberate or how accidental they are. So Verity means truth. So you've got truth and you've got grace, but of course Grace is the demon manifesting as grace. And in this episode, the demons quote quite a lot of biblical scripture. It's a very strong kind of demon that can kind of do that. So the demon kind of joins in with some of the prayers at different points. What was weird about this? I think There was something a bit muddled, I think. So it's gone down the whole line of Rome has been taken over. Rome has been corrupted, which is interesting because you're probably not aware of this unless you follow obscure sites like I do. But I've been following a lot of Splinter Catholic YouTube channels. So I can't remember the names. So what's it called? Traditional Vatican, I think, is one of them. So there are movement. There's quite a big movement within the Catholic Church that thinks that the whole Catholic Church has completely been corrupted, and that the Pope is the Antichrist. And they regularly produce very long, complicated, detailed YouTube videos explaining why this is the case and all this kind of thing. So for many people, the fact that the Vatican has been corrupted by demons, that's actually a belief that a lot of these splinter Catholics actually have, but it's kind of portrayed in this, I think, quite well. And it's kind of so somebody like Malachi Martin, for example, that's somebody to kind of look at. He's long gone, but he held that belief that the whole Catholic Church was in apostasy, was the word that he used. So that basically the devil is in control of the Vatican now, and that it's an unholy church. So they've got this kind of plot going on in this series, which I kind of quite like. It adds a whole new element to it. It makes it kind of more like a kind of it gives them a more of an adversary, which is human as well as spiritual. And it's been done before in other things. I think it's done really well in a series called Apparitions. Check out Apparitions. I haven't watched that for a long time. I might do a review of that. But that was a British TV drama. I wish they'd done more of those. My criticism really of, well, most of these things really is, I think TV dramas always go too far. Okay, they always go for maximum kind of epic battle between good and evil, whereas I think it's far better to keep stories and keep the jeopardy of stories more focused around the central characters that you're following, because if you go too high, there's nowhere else to go. So with this, the developments in this season are that the Catholic Church has basically banned exorcism. So our lead characters, ex-Father Marcus and Father Thomas, are rogue exorcists. It's like a kind of road movie almost. They're kind of, they're going from place to place, kind of doing exorcisms as required. It's like Highway to Heaven, but with exorcism. So, which isn't a bad premise. I quite like that premise. But when you get to these big conspiracies at the Vatican and the Pope's involved and blah blah blah, it kind of makes it, I think, a bit too big. So it's gone a little bit more like a lot of other sci-fi or drama series, really, in that sense. It's maybe lost some of its kind of uniqueness, and I think in a way the demon in this series was maybe more powerful than it kind of should have been. So I think they pitched the drama at too high a level potentially. But lots of good things in it. So the character of Andy, the foster home. There was some weird things around foster care that I was thinking, well, that's not. It's not that I know a lot about foster care, but I am in the kind of the social care field. So I do, I work with social workers, and I kind of interface with that side of things. And I was thinking, that's not quite how it would be really. Like the thing with Truck, the boy Truck, because he strangles Verity, and they send him off somewhere else immediately, and I think in reality that probably wouldn't happen really. And the other thing I thought is kind of part of the plot was that this home shouldn't continue because there should always be two carers in a home, and obviously Andy's wife's died. But I was thinking, well, actually, it's not a very strong plot really, because he could just hire somebody. they could pay somebody to come in and do that caring role, or pay a number of people to come in and do that caring role. They wouldn't necessarily have to have, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not part of the American social care system. But I did sort of think, really, is that right? A few times. They used thunder and lightning. I really wish horror stuff would stop using thunder and lightning. Oh, stop doing it. It's too much of a trope now. I think we need to stop doing that for at least 20 years, and then maybe we can bring it back. Names, yeah, so I was talking about Verity. I said this would be disjointed. Verity means truth, and we've got grace. And then I thought to myself, Father Thomas, which they pronounce Thomas. I thought it is a bit like a kind of advert for Catholicism, really. Whenever I watch this program, I want to go to church. Love the character of Marcus. He disappears at the end for reasons that aren't really that clear. It feels a bit messy. Do we really need that? Obviously, they were hoping at the time, I guess, to make a third season. So kind of lots of things maybe in the end of this series that don't add up because they're not followed up. Like they were, you know, the plan was to follow them up. What else? Yeah, I remember thinking early part of the series, I was thinking, this is really good. You know, this is really, I just really wish they'd made more. But I wish, again, just, you know, lower it down a little bit. You know, I think is this a modern thing that plots are becoming so big and epic? I mean, I talked about this with Doctor Who reviews and stuff like that. I mean, I guess, you know, a lot of these dramas, you know, whether it be kind of horror, science fiction, you know, these TV series, you know, the original drama, the classic drama that everyone used to watch back in the day was the Western. And I think, you know, if you got a series like Rawhide, you know, there's a kind of, because a lot of people said things like Star Trek is like Rawhide in space. So Rawhide, you know, you have tons and tons of episodes, tons and tons of stories, one after the other, and they all have, you know, an appropriate degree of jeopardy and drama in them, but they never kind of go to the level of all cowboys are going to be destroyed. You know, we're fighting for the planet. You know, and I think this whole, you know, battle of good and evil, fighting for the planet or fighting for the universe that happens in speculative fiction, you know, I really have a problem with it. I think it's, and the series Apparitions, that went really big, really fast, and had nowhere to go. And then the series kind of didn't continue. Whereas actually, if you'd kept it small and just on that low, moody, sinister, atmospheric level, you could have kept that going for a long, long time and produced a lot of really good quality drama. And I think that's the same with this, really, the Exorcist. So, thank you for sitting through that. I think my reviews are probably the rambliest I get, really. I tend to be a lot more focused when I'm talking about kind of psychological stuff or that kind of thing. But I guess these reviews are a bit of an indulgence, really, if I'm honest. But I hope you've enjoyed it, nonetheless. I mean, I quite enjoy watching videos where people are just very themselves, very forthcoming with their opinion, very frank, very candid, very chatty. I enjoy that, so I hope you have too. I guess you have if you've stuck with it this far. So that's the end of that series. So I won't be doing any more reviews of that. Thank God, you're probably saying. I will keep doing reviews because I enjoy them, but yeah, you don't have to watch them. And on that note, Rangimarie.